next thing we want to talk about is the European athlete. Things are changing. Since, like you said, like when you started playing 2007, 2008, NFL Europe went away. And I guess we're kind of, with the ELF coming back, we're kind of getting back towards something similar. But also, we all know there's a lot of Europeans who are now getting scholarships to play, sports, to play all kind of sports outside of football, but specifically football, D1 scholarships. There's different programs out there. What is it? PPI, Europe's Elite, Podium Preps, Gridiron Imports. I'm trying to name them all so people don't think I'm being biased.
Who else we got out there?
Anybody that's doing it, what is it? I think there's a group called 365 Athletes or something like that.
INS.
Yeah. INS. All that, it's all love.
There. Yeah, it's all out there.
Like, we're not trying to, ruffle no feathers, leave nobody out. But the thing is, these kids have so many options. And the sky's the limit. And, there's the pathway program. Like, I don't know why I didn't just say that again, too. That, as well as, we got guys who are going over and only doing the tryout. Who's that guy that he changed sports and just did the tryout?
Dude from Chile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you got things like that happening all the time. So, somebody like you, it is good and a bad. Good thing is, you've seen what it looks like when you have almost no shot. Like none of this was possible during your rise, during your youth. No, I'm not calling you old, but during your prime youth.
Yeah. Young vet.
Like none of this was possible. And now, like, what do you see for like the future of European football players on the international scale, not just here in Europe, but also, in the NFL, CFL, CFL Global Combine. I forgot that too. Guys can go to the CFL. They can go to the NFL. I assume they can go to indoor, but that's a little more tricky. But and now you got the ELF, which is a little bit more professional than most leagues have been here. What are your thoughts on like how the limit for what European players can do right now? Like, what is your feeling and thoughts on all this going on?
I mean, it's like you said. I really wish I had these opportunities back in the day. Because with these opportunities, and I don't know, like, I think I became better player with the run, but back then, maybe, I would have got for a full ride if I had this PPI, and going to these Dream Chasers tours or doing these combines,
Now, you be going to college. You be going to college.
I'm I shed tears, you know what I mean? Like when this all like was starting up with Europe's Elite, one of the main ones, at the beginning that started helping the guys, I shed tears. That's just because I'm happy for this younger generation to get what I wished so much for at that time, to this day. Like every time I see whatever organization is that helps a kid make it, to get over the pond, I share a tear because it's like, that is something, I wished for American football in Europe to happen anyways, because I was a true believer myself that if I would have had it, I would have been over there, or if my parents or my family would have moved back to the States and I went to high school, who knows what would have happened. But just for these kids to get this opportunity, it's for me, a dream come true for them, and it's weird, but I kind of live through them, so every signing or every kid that makes it, I'm like, that's awesome, because back then, and that's why, like, and this is a weird.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, but it's a weird and true fact, growing up in Germany, and I don't want to step on nobody's toes, no organization, no coaches, but there's this weird, thinking of you, when I grew up, or my time, you ain't gonna make it, to the States, this and that. Like, Germans are really, for me, too realistic and too and I'm like, but my ambitions and my heart is there, but you don't know that, you know what I mean? Like, you see me at practice, like, but I'm working my tail off at night, bro, every fucking night, like jogging, doing what I need to do to be the best player or to go to this next step. And then I have, people, everybody has, have people telling you, you can't do this, you ain't gonna make that. And I'm just like, man, y'all can all, leave me alone. I know what I want in my life.
You can suck a popsicle.
Exactly. So that's what made it, for me. Like, I got really mind strong where I'm like, man, F all these people that are trying to tell me like what I should do, what I can't do. Like, I love this game and I'm going to become the best I can be and try to get as far as I can in this game. So if NFL is my goal, I need to train and get there with help or no help,
What's crazy is that you're part of the reason that it's possible. And this is something that if you're listening or watching that you need to pay attention to, is that someone like Niko Lester and playing at such a high level is why there's more eyes on the sport. Like, he's somebody that when I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm going to start watching football in Finland because this guy's out here balling and they tell me he's not even like full American.
Yeah.
So that you just got one more guy watching. When my college teammate hits me up and he's coaching at a D2 school in Texas and he's like, hey, do they got any players out there? I'm telling him, like, dude, like, I've seen some ballers out here. You're like, that's all I need to hear. Say less. Send me the film. And next thing you know, this next generation is getting looked at like that. And that's where we're at now. We're at the point where, someone like Brandon Collier, he's telling these coaches like, hey, this guy's good, this guy's good. Why is he thinking that? Because he's seen them. Yeah.
But that's the thing.
It's been proven to him.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's not like, man, this is also not like it just happened now 2-3 years ago. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's been athletes in Germany, in Europe, playing football, for years. They just never had the outlet.
It takes a while. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So with the evolution of football in Europe too, now more people watch it, more people recognize, more college coaches like, damn, actually kids. And if you really look at it, like most of these European athletes that go to college, and most of the time, like it's linemen or whatever, they excel, not just on the field or in the classroom, all honors, like, and become starters and, captains and mentally. That's what I'm saying. I feel like, because me being both sides, German and American, I'm happy that I learned or that I grew up playing the game in Germany, put it like that. I was never under pressure to, make the NFL, or it was everyday pressure, like I was never like under the pressure to, or, all that stuff around it, how it is in the States. Like, you play football, you've done it high school, you don't go to college, that's it. You never playing again, like if after high school. You probably just don't start your life.
6-year-olds doing
training
and stuff because they think they're going to the NFL.
Like, it's a do or die mentality at a young age over here in the States. And it's like, listen, like, I mean, I'm dating myself, but like, even like when I was playing high school to like seeing it now, like it's becoming like way more political than what it should be. But that's just what comes with the pressure of, wanting to play, at college or wanting to get to the next level. And that's how it is over the States. But what you're seeing over in Europe is that, like, my first year with the Broncos, it was like, all right, you started seeing, kids like slowly getting pushed to go to college, stuff like that. But growing up, like, it was always, all right, start at the youth level, then play for the national team and take it from there. But now kids are like, one, they're starting younger. Two, now they have ambition and they're motivated to, go to these camps, podium preps, Euros League, because they're getting the knowledge and the training and the tips, and it's pushing them to wanting to, okay, maybe I could, find a way to take it to college, stuff like that. Yep. So it's the evolution of it, even over the past couple of years, has been crazy.
Yeah, I love where it has went for the youth, because I'm on record for saying, and I'm gonna say it again, I think national teams for American football is a waste of time, because the sport can't be developed through national play. Like, if nobody cares about the Pro Bowl and NFL, everything else down that's all-star related is just
that's a good point though. Yeah,
like,
Pro Bowl is like,
but
it's cool, but it's like,
but we all know there's a European mentality, national team. Like, that's what makes the sport legit, is having a national team. But American football isn't an Olympic sport. Like, so making a national team in your country, flag football might be, but with the mentality, like, even in the last 5 years, and obviously I'm only speaking what I know. In the 5 years that I've been here in Finland and traveled in Europe, I've seen there be a shift from these young kids saying, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to play on the national team and then play on the men's senior team. Like, that's my goals. And that was it. That's all the goals they had.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Someone like you, that's all the goals you could have, because there was almost no other options. But now I ask these kids like, hey, what do you want to do? Is like, I want to at least play in the States, whether in high school or if I can go to college. And if I can, I'd like to, maybe get a scholarship. And if I can't, I'd like to, at least be able to attend a college in the States and learn what they teach you there and bring it back here. And of course, I'd like to play on the national team at some point, but that's like, it's third or fourth on the list, which personally, I throw it off the list. But that's the shift. That's the competitive shift that is happening, that is allowing there to be more opportunities for these kids because they want it.
Exactly.
I think that there was a time where they didn't know that it was possible, so they didn't want it. Not everybody's Niko Lester and they're trying to be the best they can be. Some of these kids are like, okay, I want to play football. And the coach says, one day you could be on the national team or one day you could be on the men's team. And that's all they told them. And now they don't even have to ask the coach. They can go online. And online, there's a video that says, hey, you, this German player, you can play in the United States. They're like, coach, I'm going to the States. And coach got to be like, well, I guess you can go because that's the way we had now. I love the shift that's happening with these youngsters of wanting more. There's a higher competitiveness for these kids. When you talk to these kids, they're not talking about, oh, I just want to be a team player and help the club. They're like, I want to be the best player out here.
I can be exactly.
I want to get signed. And if I can make it to the NFL, I want to go to the NFL. That's another thing. A lot of kids say, hey, I can go to the NFL. Someone, again, not trying to date you, but someone of your age, Niko, when you're growing up, when you said that, people looked at you like, this guy is crazy. But if you say that today, like no one's going to look at you. They're not going to look at you sideways. They're going to be like,
it's a normal conversation now. It's a normal conversation now to be talking like that. And it's crazy because you're seeing like these kids that are going to the camps and stuff, they're becoming, more invested at a younger age. I remember my first year over there. I'm like, oh yeah, when'd you start playing? 19. I'm like, really? Like that's mad in the States. That's late.
Yeah, right.
Almost,
late.
That's not almost too late. That's way too late to even just start. But you're seeing these kids at a younger age, develop that mindset to learn how to compete and have those goals and stuff like that. And the evolution has just been crazy, and it's cool to see too.
Yeah, but that's why I was saying, like, I think I got, how to say, not lucky, but growing up with the American culture when it comes to sports or anything, like fighting through it, but also the German side of it, that helped me a lot, for my career. So especially sports, like anybody could tell me you can't do it. I'm like, nah, that ain't happening. Like I'm doing it, I'm gonna get it done. Like
that don't even sound right anymore.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. But if I just had that German mentality or growing up with German coach, I probably would have been like, yeah, no, I can't do it, or it's not for me, or what I'm going to do. No, like, that's why I'm happy because my pops always said, like, and it's true when I think about it at the time, growing up and, going through things. If we moved to the States, who knows where my football career would have went anyways, I might got caught up in some other things about being over there and might, so I just think it's the right spot. And for kids, this ELF especially too now, like you said, now it's just not with this ELF. I'm big on it because, there's a lot of talks going on. It's bad. But for me, I'm just happy for European football because now you also have youngers, if we're talking about, guys going to college to play football, but, not everybody's also mentally built for that, maybe to go to college and get. And there's a couple of guys that came back, got homesick or couldn't stand the shit talk or didn't make it in the weight room. It's a fact. Some can, it's just different. We back home shit talking is just different. Some can take it, but some just ain't built like that. And, when you playing in the States or you're going to get shit talk. It's not going to be like, he's going to take your ass or take your ass back to, wherever you come from, your country, So I don't know. It's like, ELF for me now is if this establishes itself, it's perfect also for young kids to have a goal, even if it's not like ambitious like college, but they can still, go study in their hometown, maybe, do their normal school stuff and go play ELF at the highest level of football where you still know, okay, if this league establishes itself, maybe NFL coaches are watching these games, maybe scouts are watching these games, maybe CFL, and you can get a shot from there. So with all this going on with Podium and all this is crazy. Yeah, like Pervis said, it's crazy right now with the evolution. And you said, Jamal, like of football. the kids have so many resources now to make it and to actually go and play, you know, and not just be, oh, I want to play national team like Pervis was saying, just, okay, I can be the best player I can be and play at the highest level and get compensated for it too. Why not? You know, like you putting in the work. So you should be getting compensated for it.
That's right. That's another, just the last thing I'm gonna talk about it is just, you know, we're talking about like European players in general. Like, yeah, it's awesome that, you know, the culture is changing. We're seeing these kids go over to the States, but we also have to be mindful of the future of some of these kids who, you know, they go to the States, they play college football, and a lot of them are gonna come back to Europe.
Exactly.
No offense. I mean, only 1% of only 1% of the 1% make the NFL. So the odds are stacked against them in that aspect. But they go to these top tier colleges, or even not a top tier college, but a college with, you know, reputable coaches who can teach them, and they come back to Europe. There's two options. You got guys who come back and they're like, okay, well, now I'm going to play in the ELF, or now I'm going to play in the GFL, or now I'm going to become an import. I'm going to play all over Europe for the next 4 or 5 years. You just boosted the competition level in the European system right there. And then you also have these guys who come back and say, you know, I'm going to get a job with my degree that I got over there in my home country, in my hometown, and I'm going to, you know, coach the youth. Or I'm going to coach at the highest level because I've learned enough from there. I was a grad assistant at my college, and now I have the tools that I can actually coach at the top level here. I just boosted the competition level and the knowledge of the game in Europe overall. So obviously it's been in the making for probably the last 10, 15 years, but within the next 4 or 5 years, we're going to start seeing the fruits of that labor into leagues like the ELF, GFL, the CEFL, these international leagues. We're going to start seeing such a high level of football played in Europe that it's going to be to the point that, you know, you can play in Europe and there's going to be even more scholarship opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a circle of life, and it's coming around now. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm glad to be here at this time because I'm not necessarily old yet. You know, I'm not as old as some of these people are out here, so I can enjoy it and be excited about it, and still have a little bit of relatability with some of these kids. Like I still remember how my college recruitment was and stuff like that, and I can tell those stories. But once it like starts happening to the floodgates when they open, it's going to change the game out here in Europe for how competitive the sport is. And it might be what we really need to make this an official sport in the majority of European countries. Because that's the biggest issue we have right now is that, you know, countries like even like Finland, like, you know, American football is not considered, you know, a professional sport. Like we have to get that all across Europe before we can start thinking about, well, you know, NFL Europe again. As much as I like the idea of the ELF, that is an outside entity from, you know, federations having that legality.
And that's the thing, like, what I was going to touch on with you saying the evolution is going to go so fast now. If the ELF establish itself, you know, and if everything, the structure is right, and you know, these federations come to terms like, hey, let's grow this sport together, you know, and not fight each other. That's, I mean, to me personally, that's what it's about with this game. Like, in no country is it professional. In no country it's considered professional. And then you have federations fighting federations or have different views. And like, no, like, to get this, to have football on a certain level, y'all, we got to work together, players, organizations, federations, but it has to start with the federations, you know, in every country to pull together, or if it's IFAF, like, so for me, the ELF, who knows if it happens, but it's a good thing that it's happening because it's going to put federations now under, you know,
on notice
to like, okay, maybe we were sleeping all these years and there's really players out here that want to play high level football and competition where, you know, for example, GFL, you know, if you play GFL, if you were with New York Lions or Schwäbisch Hall or, you know, Dresden, you maybe going to win the German Bowl. You know, the competition is still there, but you know the top teams with the top sponsors and the money, that's the ones that probably will win in the coaching. So with this ELF, it's maybe more, you know, how would you say, like spread out competitive wise. So I think
I mean,
we'll see.
I mean, and as we continue to talk about, like, you know, Europeans getting to the next level, whatever that next level
yeah.
is. The one thing that with the ELF so far, I mean, we don't know what it's going to do, but you're going to have some competition. Just seeing some of the guys that they've been able to sign and get some big names and like some of their experience, like you got to be going with someone who has that dog mentality just like you.
Oh.
So we'll see what happens from it. But with obviously the evolution of the game growing up in Europe, like as we were just talking about, it's only going to make, like Pervis said, it's only going to make the European game better, and
exactly.
the product better, and the growth better, and more sponsorships and marketing, and
TV.
Getting to America will be great, whether it's college, NFL, whatever. But having the opportunity to play at a high level in Europe is not going to be that far behind for Europeans.
And it just crossed my mind too, because if you think about it, NBA has been doing it for years, for example, too. And that's something that I always kind of compare it to.
Years, bro.
You got all these European ball. Okay, it's a different sport. Why is it a different sport in that sense? Because I think the biggest factor for that, like, separates European athletes from American, this is my belief, is definitely the weight room and coaches. That is like the two main things. Because hey, there's guys, bro, that don't touch the weight room, and they, like, where I'm like, how can you play this game and not go to the gym? Like, if it's just, and it's okay for me. Like, for me, I'm fine with, if I know I'm coming to a team that is just playing, all right, like, but weight room, come on now. If we are talking about the top teams, like, you're playing, if you wanted to be professional, GFL or whatever, Finland, at least go to the gym. And if you get good coaching,
number one reason why I retired from football. I did not want to go to the gym. I ain't been in 3 years, and I ain't going. So don't be calling me saying, "Hey, Pervis, strap him back up." No, I'm not going.
No motivation. No motivation Monday. Post.
I'll send the post, but I ain't going out there and doing nothing. All I'm saying is, if you really want to play, then that's the sacrifice that you have to make. Me personally, I don't want to make that sacrifice.
Yeah. Hey, you've done it all. That's the thing too. You've done it.
I'm good.
You've done it all. Yeah.
I'm really done.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you got the NBA, boom, and you got European players making it there. So now, why not? If ELF established itself, I believe truly that maybe the NFL will take notice too, and instead of an international pathway, be like, damn, hey, this is one player at the ELF Drax. Let's invite him for a tryout. Oh, there's one player at Hamburg Sea Devils. Let's get him. There's Scott Centurion.
Or maybe they expand the pathway. The pathway, they only take 4 players.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So, maybe they take 8. Maybe they take 12. Like, imagine you putting at least 12 players into the NFL every year. What happens? About half of those guys are going to stay on. Like, Sandro Platzgummer, he's in New York now. Like, they re-signed him because he was able to prove himself. Like, imagine if you have half those guys, like, they get the opportunity and then make a roster spot. That's something that's possible. But that's about all the time we got for that too, guys.
Yeah, that's good.
Have you checked out K Noah's ready-to-wear collection? It's K Noah's top-notch quality, but it's teamwear made custom for you and your team, so you can rep your squad now. Okay, here we go. That's it for us today on The Scoop. Keeping the locker room talk real. As always, I want to thank our guest, Niko Lester, today. Of course, man, you're one of my favorites, so it's always great to have you on. Glad you could take the time and, kick it with us and chop it up and talk sports, talk football. That's what we're talking. We talk football and life. We're talking football and life. Just want to let you know, man, that, we're rooting for you. I've already said it on this before, but, I'm very personally invested in seeing you play at the highest level in Europe this year and be able to, get your roses from the rest of the world outside of just me. So we wish you the best, man, and whatever you got going outside of football as well. You are more than just a football player to us. We know that you are a man. You have things going on, and just wish you nothing but the best in your future, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on. All the words, especially, like I said, go back to the statistics. I've never kept track of stats, so I got to put it out there again. Great work for that, too. I might have to screenshot it.
I'll send it to you.
Okay,
no problem. It's easy.
And no, it was all love talking to y'all. I really appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate it, boss. I mean, you got any excited for what the future holds? But you got any shout outs or any projects you're working on outside of football?
I think I'll keep that, keep that to myself right now.
Yeah,
I don't really,
good.
I don't talk too much on process what I'm working on, try to keep
you good, boss.
Yeah. But no, shout out to the ELF, shout out to Barcelona Dragons, by the way. About to head into the semifinal. And shout out to all the listeners on the scoop. That's mainly everything, bro.
All right,
yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir.
Anything else from you, Jamal?
I'm good, man.
All right. So thanks for watching the show on YouTube or listening to the podcast outlet. Be sure to subscribe to the Athletes Forum YouTube channel or American Football in Finland's podcast channel. That podcast is on like 85 different outlets. So wherever you get your podcast, just click it. And on YouTube, just type in The Scoop Athletes Forum, and we're going to pop up. I promise you, because we out here, okay? Subscribe to either outlet, follow us on those, and you'll get the updates every week, video or audio. Whenever we publish, you'll get a little, notification and stuff. You can also follow us on Twitter at The Scoop AF, on Instagram at Athletes Forum, or on Facebook at Athletes Forum. And also by following us on all these channels, you have a chance to win teamwear swag provided by our sponsors at K Noah. Be sure to follow instructions for the contest below in the description. And also on the audio, it'll be in the description, the contest rules. So that's it for us, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.